Welcome to Love Lines Library, where we don't just summarize books, we dissect the minds behind them. We don't chase information. We chase transformation. Tonight, we dive deep into a book that doesn't just talk about money, it reveals why we screw it up. Over and over again. It's not the market that's against you. It's not the economy. It's you. The Behavior Gap * by Carl Richards is a mirror. It doesn't care how much you earn or how smart you think you are, it just reflects one brutal truth. The biggest threat to your wealth is not Wall Street. It's your own behavior. So turn off distractions. Sit still. Because for the next 40 minutes, we're going into the space where money and emotion collide, and we're not coming back the same. Let's get this straight. The behavior gap is real. It's the painful distance between what we should do with our money and what we actually do. Carl Richards spent years as a financial planner. He watched smart people, doctors, engineers, professors, sabotage themselves financially. Not because they lacked intelligence, but because they lacked control. They sold low out of fear. They bought high out of greed. They reacted to noise instead of thinking long term. And that gap, between logic and emotion, that's where our money bleeds out. So ask yourself, are you managing your money? Or are your emotions managing it for you? Here's the con nobody talks about. You think you're in control. You read the headlines. You watch the tickers. You move your money. You feel powerful. But what if I told you, all that movement, all that activity, is just noise? Carl Richards says, we mistake movement for progress. And worse, we mistake confidence for competence. The market doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't reward motion. It rewards discipline. Every trade you make from fear or pride widens the behavior gap until you're not managing money, you're gambling with it. You'd think intelligence protects you. It doesn't. Carl Richards worked with brilliant clients, surgeons, CEOs, academics, and guess what? They made the same money mistakes as everyone else. Why? Because knowing isn't doing. When fear hits, even the smartest minds default to survival mode. They sell low. They chase hype. They ignore their plan. Because money decisions are rarely about logic, they're about emotion. And emotions don't care about your GPA. Everyone wants a secret formula. But here's the twist, simplicity is the secret. Carl writes, there's a cost to complexity. And that cost is clarity. You don't need a dozen accounts. You don't need the latest crypto trend. You don't need to check the market every hour. You need a boring, consistent plan. One that's so simple, it's hard to screw up. Because simplicity isn't lack of intelligence. It's a sign of it. Turn on the news. What do you hear? Recession. Crash coming. Buy this now. Carl Richards says, the financial media is not your friend. It's a business. And fear is their product. The more scared you are, the more you watch. The more greedy you are, the more you click. And that media noise? It drives your emotion straight into the behavior gap. You want freedom? Step away from the screen and back into your plan. Most people think risk is losing money. Carl disagrees. He says the real risk is doing nothing. The risk is hiding in cash while inflation eats your savings alive. The risk is not investing at all and ending up broke at 70. You're afraid of market dips? Try being 80 and broke. Try explaining to your future self why you played it safe instead of playing it smart. That's the risk you should fear. Carl Richards says sometimes the smartest move is no move at all. When things get crazy, we think action is power. But pause is power, too. Take a breath. Write down your thoughts. Ask, is this fear talking? Or wisdom? The world wants you to rush. Richards wants you to pause. Because that's where clarity begins. You want wealth? Then start here, fix your behavior. It's not about picking the right fund. It's about sticking to it. It's not about chasing returns. It's about building habits. Carl Richards says, you can't separate the money plan from the human behind it. So don't start with strategy. Start with you. At the end of the day, there's no perfect portfolio. No flawless forecast. No guru who knows your future. There's just you. Your behavior. Your patience. Your discipline. Carl Richards wrote The Behavior Gap not to teach you about money, but to teach you about yourself. Because when you master your behavior, wealth is just a byproduct. And the plan? It was always you. You've just witnessed what most never do, the story behind the strategy, the heart behind the habit. This is Loveline's Library, where we take books and turn them into mirrors. If this changed the way you see money, behavior, or yourself, share it. Someone you know might be stuck in their own gap. And if you're ready to go deeper, subscribe. Because every week, we don't just tell stories, we spark transformations. This isn't the end. This is the shift.